Strap in and get ready. This is the Wild Will Throwdown. We're your all-access pass to the world of short track racing, covering everything from regional results to national highlights. Each episode, we dive into upcoming schedules and bring you exclusive interviews with special guests from the heart of the motorsports industry. Now, here is your host, Wild Will Greenwell.
Well. We are back here on the Wild Will Throwdown season number 5, and it is a all jam-packed Monday. We are recording this on Monday live before we head to the Highland Rim tomorrow morning. And oh man, Hawk Harold Adams, we're coming off of another weekend of racing. It was a good one, doubleheader for you and I. We'll recap that in a moment, but another Monday, here we are.
Yeah, I don't feel too bad after a busy weekend. Like you said, the weather was really great, so we got in a lot of action. I know me and you was together Saturday at the Sportsdrome, and then you was at Salem, and I was back at the KKR opener at Sportsdrome on Sunday. So a busy weekend. Of course, Dalton got in a few races as well.
Well, Dalton actually finally won, and I think he was getting ready to get fired on this show if he wasn't going to be the top 3 anymore. So.
Yeah, I know you threatened him last week, so he came through for us.
I tell you what.
And, I had to. I literally thought I was going to be fired, so I was starting to think I sucked or something. But yeah, finally got one this year. So
I'm going to tell you what.
Second.
I'm going to tell you what. That legend car, I'm proud of you, and I'm glad nobody claimed that engine.
Yeah. We already got one taken from us. Let's not make it 2.
No, hey, and that's the thing about the Legend Series. Pretty even across the board. That's what I like about the U.S. Legend cars and the iNext stuff. So congratulations to you. We'll recap that in a moment. You can tell us a little more in detail on how that went. But, man, today's show, it's going to be great. We got a good one today. I got the topic of the week this week, a good topic conversation that a lot of tracks in the nation are facing. So we're going to talk about that here in a moment. But first, we're going to recap where we were this past weekend. You, Hawk Harold Adams, myself, and Young Money Dalton Connor. We'll start with Dalton and that Anderson Speedway up in Anderson, Indiana. Dalton, talk a little more about how you were in that Legend race and, of course, the modified.
Yeah, so I think I qualified 6th. I was really good through practice in the mod and Legend, really fast. Legend, I qualified 6th. Honestly, I just messed up my second lap. I just made an error, so kind of put me in a hole, but it didn't really because they inverted a 9. An 8. So I started 3rd in the Legend, and I'll recap that one first. Start 3rd. The main start, the first start, the leader just doesn't go. We get freight trained on the top, so I fall back to about 6th. So I make my way up, start passing, making some moves on the top. I get back to 3rd, have a good start, get to 2nd, and then it was a caution fest. It was a good race, a lot of cars, 30 Legends were on property,
wow.
28 started the feature. So super good car count, especially with Spring Nationals coming up, and some of those guys even went to Spring Nationals. So really good car count, really good racing. Caution fest, though, with a lot of cars, a lot of new people. But it was a good one all in all. Got the lead early, like lap 5, actually. I got the lead on the outside of a restart. And there's another caution, so I was the leader. Leader has lane choice at Anderson. My dumbass, I'm an idiot for it. I chose the bottom. I should have known the top was going to roll good, considering it had the previous 3 restarts.
Well, he finally admitted
I get past. Yeah, I know it. I finally admit it. I'm cocky usually, but I admit I was an idiot there. So,
I got to give you some shit.
I get passed by Xavier King on the top, and then I didn't think I had anything for him. He was really good all.
Dan, we apologize. I had just a little technical glitch there. But Dalton, you were talking about running towards the back of the pack on the invert or whatnot and working your way up, buddy.
Yeah. So our last restart with 5 to go between me and Xavier King, I was talking about everybody should choose the high side because the outside on Saturday was just so dominant there for whatever reason, just carried so much more momentum. But my luck, he chose the bottom. So I got the restart on the top, got a fairly decent start. He still kind of beat me by half a car length to the line with 5 to go. And I just kept pushing, and finally got even with them outside and got a nose on him. And then he got loose through the middle of 3 and 4, and that was basically all she wrote. And that was coming to the white flag. So I led the last 2, I think. And but it's always clean racing with Xavier. I mean, me and him have ran a lot together now, and we've wrecked at Anderson the last time we raced there, actually before this last Saturday, and we got out and just fist bumped and said it was just hard racing, man. I mean, that's how it should be. It should be clean, respectful racing, and I mean, you're going to wreck occasionally. It's just part of it. But
Sure.
Always glad to race with Xavier King. He's super respectful, super clean, and I can't wait for the next one.
I tell you what, well, Harold Adams knows Xavier King really well. I think he's interviewed him like 20 times, right, Harold?
Yeah, I know we was talking about that last week. I think I've interviewed him a lot at Salem, and he is a tough competitor, that's for sure.
Well, and of course, for myself and Hawk Harold Adams, like he just said, Harold Adams, we were at Sportsdrome Speedway on Saturday night for the Keep Cool Twin 50s for the TNT Screen Print Modified Figure 8 division. Also on hand was the Twin 25s for the Affordable Ford Figure 8, A, B, and C features for the Fords, the Future Stars, and of course the Smack Talkers. But Harold Adams, it was a great night Saturday night.
Yeah, it was really good weather, like we said, and it was a little cool at first, and it got a little cool at night. But I mean, it wasn't nothing like it was a couple of weeks ago. That's for sure. But I mean, yeah, it was anybody was a figure eight fan had to enjoy those Ford figure eights, wouldn't you say, Will?
Oh my gosh, it was a blockbuster to kick off the show, and of course it was wild. I posted I'm gonna tell you now, I posted that picture of Montgomery and Carter Cook, and I have over 40,000 views just on that one photo in 2 days. So that should tell you how crazy it was. And then, of course, the intersection collision with Dustin Hampton and Brad Hibbert. Ultimately, at the end of the day, Jacob Robertson comes home with the overall and that win. In the second leg, Billy Hines picked up the win, but that was a crazy Ford Figure 8 feature.
Yeah, it was like you said, big intersection crash there, and Dustin Hampton hurting his ankle and his leg there. I think he may have a couple little slight fractures down there. So it was hard hit. We haven't seen one like that in a little while, but that was a heck of a way to start off the program because that was the first race of the night, like you said, with Jacob taking the overall. If we want to look at the modified figure eight, they had the Keep Cool Twin 50s. Matt Johnson winning the first one. Ricky Puckett, who had trouble in the first event, got it together and won the second leg.
Yeah.
But Matt Johnson, of course, winning the overall, and that looked pretty dominant, wouldn't you say?
And I love this part. Ricky Puckett was on the pre-show, and I want to tell everyone, like, Ricky and Matt have bad blood. Look, Ricky will tell you in the past. This shows you the love of figure eight racing, right? Because the past, Ricky and him, everyone knows last year what happened between Ricky and Matt, and Ricky even talked about it on the pre-show. And then last week, I think, the week that we raced last before last, he helped Ricky put in a transmission, the whole Zero crew. They come out, they have a good clean race, and at the end of the day, Ricky's over there and giving an interview, and Matt pulls behind him to get his interview for the overall. And look, racing, we all are going to have bad blood at times. Some of us may never get along again, but most of us, they go around to the pit area and they really show respect. And I tell you what, that wasn't the only action on the track. I mean, we had some great Ford action. Ford A feature, Billy Hines picked up the win, and then you look at the Cody Montgomery, number 0M, picked up the B, and C, Jacob Robertson. That's what I want to talk about, Harold Adams. Jacob Robertson, I tell you what, I told Brandon, I said, if he could somehow win the modifieds, that would be an unprecedented night. I mean, he dominated the Ford Figure 8. He comes out and dominates in his oval car in that C feature, and then he finishes overall, obviously Figure 8, but had the top three there in the modifieds. But how about Jacob Robertson?
Yeah, I mean, the guy's a wheel, man. There's no doubt about it. And I mean, he was, like you said, he had to do the Twin 50s for the mods and then the Twin 25s and a Ford 8. And I asked him out there doing pictures later, I said, why on this night you had all those laps? Why would you bring out the oval car and run the C feature too? He goes, I don't know. He goes, I don't know why we did. He goes, but we won.
175 laps of competition in
yeah, he was happy.
Yeah, he was. 3 different cars, his Figure 8 car Ford, his oval car Ford, and his modified. So kudos to Jacob. He never disappoints. Now, Looking at the Ford Future Stars, Peyton Smith, of course, and Zach Minton picked up the Smack Talkers. But then it was Sunday afternoon, and KKR was back in action. Hawk Carolina at the Sports Dome. You were on hand for that one.
Yeah, good Sunday warm afternoon for some kart racing opener. Pretty good little turnout there. I can go over the feature winners real quick here
Sure.
for you. Give them a little recognition. Beginner champ A, Maverick Steins. Junior 1 champ Ezekiel Warren. Junior 2 champ Paxton Kern. Junior 3 champ Porter Romeo. The senior champ Jordan Clark. Junior 3 flat Eli Self. 385 pros was Cody Jaggers. Ford Future Stars on this day, Carter Shelton debuting his brand new car got the victory. And in the Legends, it was Garrett Fox who came to join and got a victory there.
And Garrett Fox was always going to be tough. We knew he was going to be tough in any kind of legend cars at any track he races on. So keep an eye on that 85. Also did some mini outlaw racing. Now, looking ahead, we were at Salem Speedway on Sunday afternoon, powered by the John Jones Automotive Group and fueled by the Hoosier Lottery. Beautiful day. It was the spring fling. We kicked off the day with practice early, as everyone knows at Salem. Typical long day. Then we went into the qualifying for the Great American Stocks, and I tell you what, qualifying really surprised me big time there. I mean, you had Wayne Edwards, who I'm just going to say this, and it's no disrespect to Chucky, but Wayne Edwards out-qualified Chuck Barnes Jr. So, thinking about stuff like that, I love the trajectory of where Wayne Edwards is, and I told him that. I'm very proud of him. Chucky said the same thing. So qualifying was awesome. We went into opening ceremonies. The Rockin' Boys were there. Tell you what, these kiddos, I posted on my social media outlet, they could play the guitar. I'm telling you, almost like Jimi Hendrix down there. I mean, it was pretty impressive. Had the crowd into it, so that was cool as well. Got to talk to them in the VIP suite a little prior to the opening ceremony, so great kids, great future. Then we went into racing. It was the short track. Now, Doug Wicker picked up the win there. Troy Phillips in second. And let's just say Jacob Robertson was not happy as he was on Saturday night. He showed his displeasure, not against the first two in the standings, but a lap car. A slower car kind of took Jacob out of the lead there, kind of picked him up. And, yeah, Jacob was a little frustrated, but then we went on to the scrapper division. Victor Wire picked up the win there. Great to see him get his first win ever on the high banks of Salem Speedway. Even though it was a scrapper, you could see the emotion that he projected in that car. And then, of course, Paul Hartledge. We had the heat races in between, but Paul Hartledge picked up the end of the day. He picked up the big track, the Mike Muffler and brake. And then, of course, this was before it, but I just want to save it for last. Jeff Caudill. What an emotional moment. First ever Great American Stock win. He dedicated that to his late brother, Scott Caudill. And I tell you what, very emotional down there. So, yeah, that was a great time and a great weekend for all of us here at, of course, the Wild Will Throwdown. But now let's move into the topic of the week. And, gentlemen, this is something that I've had on my mind for a while. I actually talked to you off the air a little bit about it before. And we're going to talk about bringing in sanctioning bodies to local short tracks and what to do, what some do not know. And who I'm talking about is basically your fans or people who think it's easy for promoters to bring these sanctioning bodies in. Now, I kind of wrote up a little thing here this afternoon because I didn't know really how to put this. But first and foremost, when I talk about sanctioning bodies, I'm talking about examples like the ASA Stars, Super Late Model. I'm talking about the Cars Tour that we see Kevin Harvick and Dale Earnhardt Jr. with. I'm talking about other things as far as, maybe the American Big Rigs, which are not so, I guess, strict on their rules and whatnot. But here's the thing I wanted to kind of write up and make sure I didn't mess this up. But getting a track sanction for a race involves gaining formal approval from the national governing body, whether that's NASCAR sanctioned, CAR sanctioned, ZMAX sanctioned, Fast Track sanctioned, Whelen Modified sanctioned. Basically, you have to go and meet all the standards. You have to ensure the safety. You got to meet the insurance coverage. You got to have the legitimacy requirements, including paying sanction fees, providing liability insurance, adhering to official safety regulations of that series, and ensuring the track meets the specific structural standards. Now, what does structural standards mean? Well, NASCAR comes in for the first time and they see a track that they've never visited before, and you only have 2 bathrooms. Well, that's kind of what it is. We want you to add 4 bathrooms. That's their standard. You need about 5,000 more bleachers, our capacity to hold those 5,000 seats, right? So basically, that's kind of what it comes through. Now you got application and fees. You got to submit a sanction application through the local association or that governing body. And some of those fees are $20,000 or more. That's not including the $175,000 purse you got to pay out to pay. So then you got to look at the logistics and personnel. So you got to have safety. Okay, do you have safety team? Do you have staging areas? Do you have trained staff? Are you coordinated? Are you on time? This is the schedule. Is your facility going to be able to do this? Okay. So once you're approved, the sanctioned body says, well, you're eligible. So let's, record keep the regional national championship series, whatever the case may be. And that's just part of it. And then, like I talked about, purse cost. You could see anything from $150,000 to $165,000 for a super late model. So this is kind of what I wanted to bring up tonight when I was having this conversation over the weekend. It's not that easy just to say, you know what? I'm opening my doors. Let the Cars Tour come on in. Let the ASA Stars come in. And yes, I'm all for them coming in, and I think it's going to happen before we see anything else. I think it's going to happen. I really do at Salem Speedway, to be particular. I'm talking about any track. Now, the reason I brought this up is the average Joe, which should not know anything about this, right? So they are just like, well, I wish they would get the Super Late Model Tour coming in here. I mean, why can't they not? Why can't the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series come in here? I know the O'Reilly Auto Parts and the Cup Series won't come here, but why can't the Craftsman Truck Series come here? Well, there's you another regulation. Per NASCAR, you have to have the safer barrier. And the safer barrier costs about $1 to $1.5 million to install at the racetrack. So, Dalton, I'm going to hand this to you first. After you heard all of that, it's not so easy, is it?
No, and the first thing that comes to my mind is Owasso Speedway the past few years with Rex Wheeler as the owner. He bought that place and completely restored it, fucking upgraded it, everything. He concreted the whole infield, the whole pit area, put safer barriers all the way around, new catch fences all the way around. He added however many more bleachers. I mean, he spent so much money on that place just for the chance that NASCAR to go there. So, and they haven't even been there yet. So sure, he has all the ASA races and stuff like that. And I'm not even sure they've had a Cars Tour race there. I could be wrong, but they always have ASA races there, pro late model supers, all that stuff. But that's the first track when I hear this that comes to my mind because it's somewhat local too, up north. But that Rex Wheeler, I'd hate to see or hear how much money he spent on that place. Like you just said, the safer barrier deal is $1 million+ to install, and he did it just for the chance at NASCAR to bring a truck or an Xfinity car or anything there, because they probably aren't going to bring the Cups or probably not even the O'Reilly cars now. It's probably just for the chance for a truck race to happen. So
yeah,
I'd love for Salem to do something like that because it's such a historic place. It'd be badass racing. I mean, those guys would. A lot of them have already ran Salem coming up through the ranks in NASCAR, but I'd love to see a NASCAR truck race at Salem. I think it'd make for some of the best racing on the whole schedule for the whole year.
Well, I tell you what, Salem already has a leg up. Think about this. They already have an ARCA Menard Series race there. So they do have a little bit of connection there, and that's most people would die to have an ARCA Menard Series race. They're building up their car counts as well, and it's already been said, it's rumored. I know many Salem Speedway officials has talked to his dad, Chase Briscoe, really wants to run that ARCA Menard Series race this year in his home. Of course, Mitchell, Indiana native. They're going to be at St. Louis at Gateway. So that'll be kind of close proximity, if you will. So I think Chase Briscoe's got that on his radar. One guy that when he was young raced at the Salem Speedway. So, 2026 is huge. It's 80 years. But I got a feeling the 81st year at Salem Speedway is going to be pretty special. Harold Adams, I'm going to pass it to you. You've heard that. You and I talked about that. People think you can just bring anything in just off the whim and maybe have to pay a little bit. But there's a lot of regulations to this stuff, including technical stuff like insurance. You and I talk about insurance a lot.
Yeah, we talked to people behind the scenes a lot, about different things, and like I said, bringing in different stuff, doing different stuff with these promoters and race directors, and there is so much behind the scenes that people don't realize that has to be brought up, has to be done. Everything has to be just right and followed regulations, like you said, this upgrade, that upgrade, and it's get me thinking about like years past, like several years ago, like maybe even like Louisville Speedway. I know it was like NASCAR sanctioned, right? Because they had like the Race of Champions in there, and had like the short track series or whatever,
Yeah,
the
so
Winston series.
basically at that point,
So
right? Today it's known as the Advanced Auto Parts NASCAR Sanctioned Track. Yeah, so but yeah, I know what you mean.
yeah,
Louisville was a little different, but yeah, Winston sanctioned, if you will.
Winston Racing Series, I think they called it or
Yeah,
something.
because it
But
was the Winston
anyway,
Cup
but
back in the day.
right, exactly. But it seems like maybe back then, even as great as Louisville was, I'm thinking that some of the stipulations weren't quite as strict as they are
Sure,
now. You know what I mean? It's
agreed.
just yeah, just like now, because things cost so much. Insurance is just through the roof now compared to years ago. So I just have a feeling that back then, as we've seen a lot of times in the old films, back if you go way back in the '70s, safety didn't look quite as important back then. To
Yeah,
be honest with you,
no,
but
that's true.
guys driving in cut off shorts.
Yeah, I still can't believe that in lap belts. And even for
Yeah, I
me,
mean,
being the generation that I am, seeing your picture, and I'll point that out. And I think it's really cool to see pictures like that. Even the early '90s when you guys could race with open face helmets and cut off T-shirts. Now, guys still race with cut
that's
off, or excuse me, not cut off, but open face helmets here and there. But the cut off T-shirt still gets me with no gloves.
yeah, I mean, and yeah, like I say, I raced in the '90s at Sports Drome, the Dromer division, like bombers back then. We, the street stocks and everything had to have a lot of stuff, but we didn't have to have a racing suit. We didn't have to have long sleeves. We didn't have to have, a full helmet. We just basically just got in, put our helmet in, did our lap belts, and went on.
That's it. And and that's what I'm talking about. Different regulations now with everything that's been done over the years and getting hurt and everyone now. You look at the NFL. We're not talking about that. Talking about now concussion protocols and all of that fun stuff. There's just more rules in place of safety. And when I was a kid growing up, they would just say put some dirt on it to be all right, and that's not the case anymore. Dalton, I know you know that being young. I know you can be a wussy here and there.
Uh, well, what'd you say? Fuck me for? What do you mean I should be a wussy? But no, it is. It's a different time. Danny Akery, the dude that builds my motors, or one of them, him and Lyle Johnson, he used to race Mount Lawn back in the day. He's in the Mount Lawn Hall of Fame, all that, and he raced through the '60s. And he's always told me these old stories about like him running those Super Sixes with like just a t-shirt on, shorts, open face helmet, and just like those lap belts in there. And he said he was working at Chrysler through that time, and he called in sick because he wrecked his car and knocked all of his front teeth out.
Oh
All of them,
gosh.
knocked every single one out. So he was on sick leave from work, and he was still showing up at Mount Lawn Speedway to race. So Chrysler, his bosses found that out, that's why he was on sick leave. So they fired him, and then a couple weeks later they hired him back on, and he worked there for the rest of his whole career.
Now
So he
that's a
retired from
story.
there. So it is. It's a different time. It really is.
Now that's a Hall of Famer.
Um,
That's a Hall of Famer.
that's wild.
That is a true racing legend in my eyes. I mean, you don't get more OG than Danny Akery around here.
I mean, why would Chrysler get mad? I mean, he's auto racing. I mean, he's racing a car. I mean, hopefully it was a Chrysler. I don't know that, but
Yeah, I don't know. Again, a different time, but they didn't care too much. They needed the workers, so they hired him back a couple weeks later. So I think it worked out for him in the end.
Harold, what were you going to say, buddy?
Just going back on the lack of safety stuff. Me and my buddy, we actually, my first time I raced was actually at Charlestown Speedway, just up the road here.
Wasn't that
It's
the
not
late
there anymore, of
30s?
course.
Late 30s, wasn't it?
Well, let's not go back that far.
Well, okay.
Not too much. 19.
It was
Hey,
mid
19.
40s. Get it right, Will. Mid 40s.
Come on now. Here's the truth. 1984. How about that? How old were you, Will?
-5.
How about you, dog? Let's not get into that,
I was
dog.
born in 04, so it was -30.
We can't even do the
2000s.
math on that one.
Woo,
But
2000s.
here's what it was. That's when they started the Bomber Division, 1884, Charlestown. And at that point, there was no really good entry-level division. It was street stocks, and they were pretty advanced. They started the Bombers, and man, people were just, loving that. It was a real cheap way. They wanted to make it as cheap as possible. Me and my buddy got this car, and I'm not kidding you. You could leave the bench seat in it. It was a bench seat.
I thought you said a bitch
there.
seat.
Yeah, bench seat. Some people probably don't even know what that is, but it's the seat that went all the way across the front. But you didn't even have to have a regular racing belt. You could just have the regular seat belt that came in the car. Can you imagine that?
I can't imagine
and,
that.
we were running like those big old cars, 30 of them out there, and beating and banging each other. No wonder someone didn't get really seriously hurt back then. But, oh well. Just thought I'd bring that one up. That's mind-boggling to think nowadays.
Well, hey, it's correlating in. I mean, it's regulations. You cannot do that anymore. And basically that seems to go with, well, if this big sanctioning body comes to your facility, then you're going to have to make sure your facility is equipped with the proper safety devices. How many fire extinguishers? How many safety crews? Are they certified? Those safety crews, I know Salem's have to go through certifications. Some tracks, they don't have anything like that, but, part of it is part of it. And I think there are tracks out there. I know, I'm just going to say it. Brent, the owner at Salem, he's looking at bringing some bigger series in, and I'm trying to work with him on that. And, what he's told me and what Glenn's told me, and Glenn Luckett, he is one guy to ask because he's been the director of the CRA series. He's actually helping race direct the ASA Super Late Models now. He leaves for Virginia in a few weeks. So, yeah, Glenn is one who knows the sanctioning body, and he knows exactly how much the purses are and whatnot. So, yeah, that's just a big topic of the week I wanted to bring up to your attention, and basically not your guys' attention because but just the average race fan. And I'm not saying anything bad about them because they don't get to see behind the scenes like you and I and Dalton does. So, bringing these big series in is not just calling and saying, hey, man, you want to bring your series into race maybe next year sometime? Oh, yeah, we'll be there. It ain't that simple. You got to go through like 5 different organizations and certifications and insurance and your sister's ass and everything else to get that series in. But, man, what a topic of the week today, and we appreciate each and every one of you. This was a great conversation, but we'll go on and take our breath. We'll take a quick commercial break. Thank our marketing partners in 2026, celebrating 5 years and partnering with the Indy Warrior Partnership here on the Wild Will Throwdown. Coming up next, going to be a young driver. He's going to be competing in the Spring Nationals this week at the Highland Rim Speedway. It'll be the driver of the number 33 U.S. Legend Series car, Collin Dickey, when we return here on the Wild Will Throwdown. Race fans, in 2026, we celebrate 5 years of the podcast, The Wild Will Throwdown. And in 2026, we cannot thank our great marketing partners for what they do for us, including the Salem Speedway, the Sportstrom Speedway, KKR, Indianapolis Speedrome, Elite Outdoor Services, Shears Drain Cleaning, Kentucky Clutch and Performance, Forklift Rescue, Diesel Boys, Park Fans, Hoosier Auto Racing Fans, Flag to Flag Media, Roosters, Marshall Jaggers Racing, Derby City Recycling, Polk Brothers Racing, John McLaren Motorsports, Shane Wilson Lawn Care, Sean Smith Race Cars, Circle City Raceway, Victory Lane Frenchies, Oink Incorporated, Hadley Towing and Recovery, Code 3 Roofing, KJ Enterprises, The Smile Center, Clap Mowing and Landscaping, Lefebvre's Curbing, El Tarasco Mexican Restaurant, and S&R Towing. We cannot thank our beautiful marketing partners enough for their success and their support in 2026. And welcome back to the Wild Will Throwdown season number 5 as we continue the month of April for the future youth of our racing in our area, all the way up to the Speedrome, down to the Sportstrome, and all over. And now on the hotline, Competing in the U.S. Legend Series Spring Nationals this week at the Highland Rim Speedway, we welcome the driver of the number 33 Legend car, Mr. Collin Dickey. And Collin, thanks for joining us this week, buddy. I know you got a busy one.
Yeah, no problem, man. It's great to be on.
Yeah, we appreciate you, and we've, of course, been keeping up with the Spring Nationals and everything building up to it. And I know we'll be making our way down there and whatnot. But, man, first and foremost, before we get into that, tell our listeners how you got started in this fun sport.
So all my life, I really have been uh, going all over the country with my uncle, Jack Dawsey.
Yep.
And, you know, he's really, it was the pro and super late models on asphalt. And we were just going everywhere. And, I really liked it. And then in 2020, I got a junior fast kart and, learned some stuff there. And then here, last year, we moved up to Legends.
Well, I mean, how was that transition? Did you, I mean, what you've learned with the fast cars, and I'm familiar with those, going to the Legend car, I'm sure a lot faster, obviously, but any kind of learning that you learned from the fast cars going to Legends, or was it kind of like starting fresh on learning that type of vehicle?
Uh, it was kind of starting fresh, but like obviously, like some of the fundamental stuff.
Yes.
Um, and it was really hard to transition at first, but then once I got the hang of it, it's really fun now.
Well, no, I mean, I'm keeping eyes on you. We've seen that new wrap, of course. They posted on social media. Very excited for that. And let's go on and jump into it. This weekend, Highland Rim, going to be a great weekend. Some of the best and even NASCAR stars like, of course, son, Brexton, and Keelan Harvick. And you got Kyle Busch down there racing the Lucas Oil number 51. What is it like competing in these national-style U.S. Legend events, no matter where it is?
I've never ran any until this week,
Oh.
but I've heard they're really fun and it gets you a lot of experience at these tracks. And we're going for a track championship at Nashville this year, so I think it's going to help us out a lot at the end of the week.
So I'm guessing you're going to go on and travel as well all week down to Nashville as well, correct?
Yeah, we'll be down there for the second half of the week. So yeah, that's going to help us out a lot.
So what did you learn in practice today? I know, of course, Mother Nature kind of rained on the parade a little bit, delayed practice a little bit, pushed it back. They gave you guys a little bit of allotted time, but how you went out first compared to the end of the day, what did the car do? Did you learn anything, or were you very optimistic about it?
I learned a lot today because I've always ran flat tracks. I've never ran a bank track, and here at Highland Rim, it's decently banked in the
Yes.
corners, in my opinion. And it was really hard to learn at first, and I got some tips from guys that have ran here before. And my uncle again, Jack, he helped me a lot.
Good teacher, 100%.
Yeah,
If you're going to
very.
look for a teacher or a mentor, that's the guy to have. And have you ever ran Highland Rim before?
I have not. This is my first time here.
Excellent. Yeah. So I've done some media down there. I've actually, when I go down there, I can almost reach out and touch the Legend cars because I will be standing almost in the turns there with the media stuff. And, it's the best track to watch a Legend Series race, in my opinion. I love the bull rings. I love the bull rings that are banked. Not severely banked, but Highland Rim puts on some great racing. The crew down there, phenomenal in what they do. So I'm excited to see how you do. A lot of some locals that race in the Indianapolis area are down there. I know most North Carolina and Tennessee, and there's some Kentucky guys down there as well. What I love about this is here at our local tracks, Collin, we only get to see the Legend Series usually, right? So it's just one. I guess you could say division. Everyone competes in the Legend Series if they come.
Yeah.
But this is like everything from the beginners to the pro to the masters. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun. It's better to race against kids my age, and a lot of them are better than me in my opinion. And learning from them, it really helps a lot.
Now, Collin, how old are you now, buddy?
I'm 12 years old.
Yeah, I mean, for what you've done, it's great to see. And as you know, and I'm sure your mother and father have told you this, to make it to the top level, you got to start the age you are. And that's very impressive. So now my question is, what do you want to take out of this week? What is your goal in these two races on the Spring Nationals?
I'm really trying to just gain track time and learn some stuff, and then hopefully it'll be back here at Highland Rim in Nashville next year, and then we can have some stuff to go base off of for next year. And it's also going to help us a lot at Nashville because be running the full season there.
Well, that's awesome, and I didn't even know that. So that's very cool. Now, talking about Highland Rim and Nashville, I'm glad they are working together. In the recent years, they've started to kind of coexist a little bit here and there, so I like that. So now the after question of the Legend cars, I know you've probably hinted it around with your parents and of course Jack, your mentor. Where do you see yourself going after the Legend Series cars? Obviously, you want to get experience, you want to do good in the Legends, but I'm talking down the road. Where would you like to see yourself?
Uh, you know, my mom and dad don't really like it that much, but my dad's learned that it's gonna be the path that I want to do, and
Sure,
it's going dirt late model racing.
sure.
You know, I've always dreamed of going to NASCAR and stuff, but I feel like now looking at it, I think it's gonna be more fun running dirt.
Well, Mr. Tyler Reddick, I've met him when he raced super late models in dirt before he became who he is today, a NASCAR winner. So never count your chickens before they hatch. You should be counting them possibly one day because you can make it there too. I mean, you could go to dirt late models, have a great career, and then possibly get picked up by someone, and you just never know, like developmental drivers. And that's what I love about NASCAR now. Not only are you pick and choose, basically you have a lot of drivers that are pick and choose from different teams as developmental driver. So whether it's Toyota, Ford, Chevrolet, or Dodge coming in the back in the sport, so hey, don't count them out. But Collin, who would you like to thank on that number 33?
I would like to thank my mom, my dad, um, Bennett Realty, the Cave Barbershop, Magic Man Media, J3 Services. Uh, who else? Gosh, I don't got no sponsors on the car, so I can't look at
Hey, that's the key, right? No, you're
it.
fine, buddy. Take your time.
Oh, Quentin White Motorsports,
Yeah.
Jones Electric, uh, Guild Mortgage, and just everyone that supports me, and all the fans.
Now you're doing some media stuff yourself, correct? Because I know you reached out to me before.
Yeah, I run Magic Man Media.
So talk about that
It's
for a
just
second. Give you some publicity. What is that?
you know,
What do you plan to do with it?
I really just, which obviously this week I'm not going to because I'm so busy with racing. But whenever I go to tracks, I just try and make some money. So
That's
I
it.
just I rent GoPros out. I'll get a couple a weekend, and then I take pictures, and it's just something for me to do, and it's fun, and I think you know it'll help down the road. And I also manage our Facebook uh, page at Collin Dickey Racing. So
Yeah, I'm glad you shouted that out. So anyone out there listening, go to Facebook, the media outlet, Collin Dickey Racing. Check him out, give him a like, give him a follow. That's what it's about, getting you guys out there, getting the names out there. And, man, Collin, you're going to have a great career ahead of you. 12 years old, and you're already a racer and an entrepreneur. That's pretty cool.
yeah, thank you.
All right, buddy. Well, we wish you the best of luck. We'll see you down there this week in the pit area. Stop by, chat a little bit, and we can't wait to see what you do down there.
All right, thanks for having me on.
Race fans, here in 2026, we are glad to partner with Flag to Flag Media. Our friends Matt Lamar and the gang set to have a show Thursday nights at 8 p.m. on their YouTube page or Facebook platform. Just go to Flag to Flag Media. That's FLAG, the number 2, FLAG Media. Flag to Flag Media for all of your dirt highlights around the region. Check them out at Flag to Flag Media. And welcome back to the Wild Will Throwdown season number 5, partnering with Indy Warrior Partnership 2026. That was Collin Dickey going for a good run down at the Spring Nationals at the Veterans Motorplex, a.k.a. Highland Rim. And as we learned, Collin Dickey going to run for a Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway Championship as he will head there right after the day. Many people don't realize that. Once the competition is done on Wednesday night at 6 p.m., parking opens at Nashville for them. So that's going to be interesting to head on straight to the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. And Dalton, usually I go to Harold on the guest part, but you know Collin really well.
Yeah, he's my little buddy, and he's getting a lot of experience down there right now. Some good and some bad, but I think all in all, he's gonna have a good trip, and it's gonna be a lot of fun for him. I know that. I wish I could have went down to Spring Nationals when I was 12. Hell, I didn't even know what racing was when I was 12 years old. So he's got a big head start on me.
Well, I told him, and you look who his mentor is. I mean, Jack Dawsey. I mean, he's got a good teacher there, and his parents all supporting him. And Collin's doing what he takes. You got to start that young to get to the top level, and that's just another topic of the week we could talk about on how young you got to be to make it there. But anyways, we're going to talk about some of the upcoming schedule here to end our show today, and we got a lot of them coming up in the region. As we talked about, once we get to the month of April, we start to really amp up the month of racing for April. And here we go. We'll start off with the Highland Rim, U.S. Legend Car Nationals at Highland Rim. Many classes to talk about here. When you think about Highland Rim, you think of a short bull ring banked, just a bull ring, Harold Adams. You've been there many times. You love it.
Oh man, we love it there. I mean, I remember the first time we went, we was like, wow, this is just cool. Just the way the setup is. You know how we can get into the infield and get up so close to the track. I mean, it's such a rush. I mean, it really is.
Yeah, and Dalton, you've run a street stock there, correct?
No, I've not. I've never even been to the track. I've drove
Really?
past it going to Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, but yeah, I've never even seen the place. I've watched some races there, leading up to my street stock races coming up weekend, but yeah, I've never seen the place in person.
Wow, how about that? I did not know that at all. Now there will
You
be
need
a
to put
street.
that on your bucket list.
Yeah, no doubt. There will be a
Yeah,
street stock race there this year.
yeah, it's this coming up weekend.
Oh, is it Saturday? Are you going to race it or no?
Yep. HRA Street Stocks. I plan on running right now their full schedule. I think it's 8 race deal. So yeah, this is our next one, and we're waiting on a schedule to be released right now. But they emailed us today and said it should be probably tomorrow that they release the schedule of events.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
That's cool.
Yeah, that is very cool. And seeing the CRA street stocks down there, and that will be really cool to see, actually. So we wish you the best of luck. It's a bull ring, but yeah, let's talk about this Legend Cars a little bit down there. This is pretty huge for Highland Rim. In the recent years, Highland Rim, it is Veteran Motorplex at the Rim, but I am always going to call it Highland Rim. Today with practice, we're recording this on Monday if you're listening to it late or through the week. But Tuesday, April 14th, this is going to be the kind of schedule. 9 a.m. gates open Central Time. Drivers meeting 10 o'clock. They'll have practice round 1, and then they'll go into qualifying at 12, following opening ceremonies, and they have round 1 features and round 2 features tomorrow. Just a note, nighttime practice if time allows, if they get done throughout the day. Wednesday, same thing. They'll have round 3 features at 12 p.m. after qualifying. So some of the big names. I mean, man, let's talk about the division breakdown real quick here. First division listed is the Legend Car Pro. You have Georgia, Tennessee, New York, California, New York, North Carolina, Mississippi, Florida in there. And that's going to be right now who's on the entry list. Could be more, could be less. Legend Car Chargers. This is Tennessee. Ontario, Canada has actually 3 entries. And Indiana and Tennessee. Chase Bohannon, a local regional driver that we know. Legend Car Chargers. Now we have the Semi-Pro. Now, as you notice, they break them down, which is really cool because they put you in your kind of group that you kind of should go with, either an amateur or a pro or a kind of mid-pack. Now, if you look at the Bandoleros, yep, they had the Bandolero Outlaws, and I'm just guessing from that is your more professional ones. And then here's what you have to watch out. The Legend Car Masters, and it is just the way it seems, Masters, because there's one guy in there that is the number 51 Lucas Oil car of Kyle Busch. And Kyle Busch is the NASCAR Series champion at the top. He's the Cup Series champion, races for Richard Childress Racing now and the Cup Series. This kind of worked out for Kyle because the Cup Series just finished at the Bristol Motor Speedway this past Sunday. And, good to see Kyle Busch there. His son will be racing as well. So Brexton Busch going to be in the Young Lions. That's kind of, you're moving up, but you're still a rookie. And our buddy Grant Hooker, Brandon Hooker's son's going to be in that race event. Maddox Ritchie, he's going to be down there racing this year. Keeneland Harvick, Kevin Harvick's son's going to be racing down there. He practiced today. Carter Clapp, another local, is going to be racing. Ace Elin, we know. Harold Adams, if you're here, if you're a Legend car driver, you're right now this week in with the top tier Legend cars and Bandolero drivers in the country.
Yeah, it's amazing. I think we talked about this a few weeks ago about how the legends. I know Dalton was talking about how you can go different places all over the country with the rules and regulations pretty much the same everywhere, and it's just amazing how much it has blossomed out. And yeah, you can just see how big some of these big events are like that. You got a lot of these locals here going down there and then coming from all over the country for some big bucks. So it's pretty cool. They're doing like a big thing with both tracks down there all week.
Yeah, and I know, Dalton, you race Legend cars, and you know how big Legend cars are getting here with the INEX stuff.
Yeah. I'll talk about some of the other guys there. You were talking about the Masters division with Kyle Busch. I'm looking at timesheets right now, and these semi-pros, I mean, you got Hunter Jordan, quick time out of 13.906.
Wow.
And then all the way back in 19th is a 14.0. So you're talking
Whoa.
about a tenth between the top 20 cars.
Oh,
I
my
mean,
goodness.
That's just insane to me. And that's just in one semi-pro class. The pros are even tighter. So that's just crazy to me how close and how competitive all those classes actually are.
Yeah, it's really cool. If you don't know how the Legend cars started, way back in 1992 at Charlotte Motor Speedway, everyone knows Humpy Wheeler. If you know NASCAR, Bruton Smith, he has all the SMI tracks. Basically, they just wanted affordable, low-maintenance racing. It was designed actually to look like a 1930s and 40s NASCAR modified is what it was originally scheduled to look like. It was the 5/8 scale car, built to cost roughly the same as a bass boat. Believe it or not, it was like $10,000 at the time. Now it's like $14,500. And was able to fit in a pickup truck. That's what they wanted to do. They wanted this car to be affordable, and they wanted to fit in a pickup truck. And that's pretty cool. And I know, Harold, it's cool how it started and now what it's become today.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I know when we first seen them, I didn't think that much about it. I didn't think, well, it's just one of these little things they got going. It'll probably fly by night deal and it'll go away because it's not that big a deal. But it kept growing and growing, and people just get interested in them. And I know a lot of people love to watch them. And just they're interesting cars, that's for sure. And so small and nimble. And I tell you what, we've seen some good races.
What have I always said? If you get enough cars, Legend Series racing is fun to watch, and I'm excited to see how they do this week down at Highland Rim. But let's go on and move to Sportstrome Speedway, setting idle this weekend, and because it is Thunder over Louisville in Thunder over Louisville country. That is basically the kickoff. If you don't know what we're talking about and you're listening to this somewhere across the country, it is the kickoff to the Kentucky Derby week and all of that fun stuff. When you live around it, you've done it, you're ready to go watch racing. So then, looking at it, we have something to do this weekend, but it won't be involving going to a racetrack. I know Harold Adams is the official photographer, but I will be there with the Sportstrome Speedway booth and Salem booth doing some T-shirt sales and whatnot. But it is the Bluegrass World of Wheels car show presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts, Kentucky Fair and Exposition Center. I know, Harold, you love this. You look forward to it. Of course, the snowstorm pushed us back. They had no choice but to put it this weekend. But I know you really enjoy meeting people in there, talking, and being the official photographer.
Yeah, it's always a lot of fun, and been doing this for about 3 years, I guess now, and it's always interesting. It's just a shame they had to postpone it, but like you said, they really had no other choice on the schedule. At the fairgrounds, of course, Thunder over Louisville, like you said, pretty much takes over the whole city. So everybody's kind of interested in seeing how this does. I mean, it could be a flop or it could be a big hit. You just never know.
Yeah, and the Indianapolis Speedrome competes this weekend. That will be April the 18th, and we're talking about the Outlaw 51 lap. Rodney Sizemore, that's the reason the one comes in on a regular 50-lap night. Also going to have the factory front-wheel drive and the 7th annual Marty Griffin Memorial for the INEX Legend 40 and, of course, the Mini Outlaw Oval and Figure 8. Anderson Speedway going to have a big one this weekend. It's the 26th annual Glen Nibel Classic presented by CB Fabricating for the 500 Sprint Car Tour. Winchester Speedway, yes, Demolition Derby on the high banks. They kind of, Dan Redmond and the gang up there at Winchester, going to have some fun this weekend. That's always fun. Our friends at the Plymouth Motor Speedway, they're going to have an Enduro this Sunday, April the 19th. It's called the Fools 200. And Lake Cumberland Speedway, all the Nights of Destructions are starting early. It is the Night of Destruction Demo Derby. They're going to have everything from small mini cars, youth minis, street stock madness. They're going to have side-by-side UTVs, school bus races, boat pool races, rollover contests, everything. So check out Lake Cumberland Speedway. Our friends at the Florence Speedway, they're going to have the Ohio Thunder Race Saver Sprints, Hot Lap qualifying heats. They're also going to have modifieds, G&G Express Sport Mods, Everstrong Roofing Crown Vics, and Hidden Gem Motorsports Legends on the dirt. So check them out as well. And Dalton Connor, you mentioned Highland Rim. Let's talk about what you're doing this weekend. Go on and tell everyone.
Yeah, I'm running my HRA street stock, not CRA. It's still CRA to me because it just has a better ring to it, I think.
That's going to be hard to break, by the way.
Yeah, it's going to be very hard to break. But I'm running my HRA street stock down at Highland Rim. And honestly, I'm not even sure what's on the schedule with it because I haven't seen a schedule yet. So fingers crossed tomorrow that they release a schedule of events for Saturday. But can't wait to go down there. Like we just talked about, I've never even seen the joint in person. So I'm going to go in blind and hopefully have a good showing.
Well, when you drive on a road and see a big trailer like you're going to a trailer park, that's when you know you're at Highland Rim. So their whole press box suite area is like a whole mobile home trailer thing. It's actually really cool. So Brownstown Speedway, our friends at Jackson County, they're going to have a big one this April 18th. It'll be the John Gill Classic. They're going to pay $10,000 to win for the Northern All-Star. And that'll be the Super Late Models, Super Stocks, Pure Stocks, and the Crown Vics on hand. Our friends down at the Rock Castle Speedway, they're going to have a big one. I mean, a big one. It'll be the Cumberland Plateau Open Wheel Modified Series, and they're going to have a ton of divisions. Now, I was reading this earlier, and I did chuckle a little bit. Let me finish. Pro Late Model, Sport Mods, Super Stocks, Crown Vics, Hobby Stocks, Hornets, Mini Wedges, and drum roll, please. Here is your new division name, the Budget Bangers. So, yeah, I'm not joking.
Sure you're not, is this a schedule for Weaver Valley?
It is the Budget Bangers. Now, I know a lot of Budget Bangers down on 4th Street in Louisville. I don't think this is the same Budget Bangers as they're promoting there. But what do you think about that, Dalton?
Oh,
that's something. That's for sure. It'd be interesting to watch. So I may have to. Hopefully, somebody goes Facebook Live, or is there a preview pay-per-view thing I could buy or something to watch that deal?
I don't know what a Budget Banger is. I'm guessing it's a scrapper type vehicle.
That's what I think.
I'm probably with you on that one. It's probably a scrapper.
Okay. I just hope it ain't everyone on a budget trying to bang. And okay, let's move on.
You can't bang on a budget. That's rule number one. You can't bang on a budget.
Well,
All right,
moving on.
Yeah,
moving
thank you.
on anyway, like
my
you said,
head's
Will,
spinning.
moving
My head's
on.
spinning now. Ohio Valley Dragway Double Points Bracket Racing. If you're in the NASCAR Cup Series this Sunday, April the 19th at 2 p.m., the Advent Health 400 Kansas Speedway. It's going to be 267 laps, 400.5 miles. Man, what a show today, man! This is a good. Every week I think we have a good show, but this one's been a really good show. A lot of good information. So I'm going to throw it to you, Harold Adams, for your white flag final thought of this week.
Oh man, I tell you what, we had a busy weekend and one day to rest, I guess you could say. We're right back at it on Tuesday, and then get ready for the car show, and then we'll be keeping tabs on old Dalton down there on Highland Rim, see how he's doing.
Yeah, I'm excited for him. And Dalton, we'll throw it to you, and I'm sure that'll have to involve your final thoughts on hitting a track for the first time in the street stock on a bull ring.
Yeah, for sure. And then this week I got a lot of legend racing to watch too to get prepared for that. So I'll be watching my little buddy Collin Dickey hopefully run pretty good, and good luck to him. And yeah, going in blind next weekend, but hopefully it's a good showing for us.
Well, I tell you what, it's going to be awesome to see how Collin and the rest of our locals do. We're going to go down and support them and everything of that nature. And you'll hear it every week from me: support your local short track, support your local short track, support your local short track. We want our kids down through the generations as long as possible to enjoy this great sport we love called motorsports. And We will not do that if we don't support our local short track. So that is my big thought this week. We're excited to go down to Highland Rim this week. Excited to see everyone at the car show this weekend, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts. It's kind of a big thing where we can just have a little reunion, talk racing and everything like that. So that's my final thoughts. I want to give a big shout out, of course, to Collin Dickey for coming on and taking some time out of his busy schedule the next few days, I should say week, for that young man and that number 33 machine. Also, want to thank you and Harold Adams, as always, the drivers' crews, the competitors who give us their input here at the podcast, and, of course, the great fans. And, of course, the great fans are the reason we're here each and every week on this show, and we appreciate them. Well, as for me, of course, my name is Wild Will Greenwell, and I will see you around the turn.